I've spoken enough about them. But just see the first slide. Of course, there is no denying that two things are very important for any organization as far as employees are concerned. Number one, their competence. Number two, their commitment. Unless employees are competent, they will not give their best to the organization. Unless they are committed to their organization, again, organization will not get benefit. So obviously, commitment and competence, they are very important. But I personally feel that, of course, competence is there, commitment is there, but ultimately, HR will be evaluated. People will be appraised on the basis of value creation, what they have contributed to the organization. Every individual should think in terms of value creation, that is, what he or she can contribute to the organization. Before talking about pay package perks, one should always keep it in mind that what I am contributing to the organization, how organization really feels that yes, I am valuable and I am contributing. And secondly, employees are looking for the organization that is really purpose driven, not the profit driven. So obviously, nowadays employees also want to work to that organization that really contributing something productive, valuable to the society. As I already mentioned that because of the globalization, what is happening? That now we are thinking not in just national perspective, but from the global perspective, global sourcing, global development assignments, and global reward equity become increasingly important. And certainly, globalization has connected people as well as technology across the globe. So, obviously, now you can hire people anywhere in the globe. In order to develop your people, you can send them anywhere. In multinational corporations, they can be placed, they can be transferred just for development purpose, anywhere in any group company. And certainly, there is now very thin difference as far as the global rewards are concerned. So this trend will continue in future. Now, we all know the importance of teamwork and team building. In future also, there will be greater focus on teamwork. Of course, individual competence is important, but what is more important is organizational competence. So obviously, it is quite relevant that great talent in the absence of teamwork will not succeed. So individual ability without organizational capability will not create sustainable success. And this issue will be again touched in compensation management also. Instead of individual rewards, there will be greater focus in future also on group rewards. There is a severe talent crunch, as I already mentioned, and nowadays, now many organizations are seriously thinking. They have really joined their hands also to bridge that skill gap. Of course, Skill Development Corporation, Sectoral Skill Development Councils, they have started working, and in coming years, maybe very shortly, maybe 3, 4, 5 years, perhaps private skill industries will come. Basundaraji already declared that very shortly skill industry is coming in the state, and many private players have shown interest in establishing skill development universities. So there will be greater focus to bridge that skill gap, and this is the area where even industries in the same domain will be collaborating, because they know that by collaborating, perhaps they will be able to get the right kind of people and it is in the benefit of all if skilled people are available. Technology has greatly influenced HR. There are again four important areas as far as the technology is concerned. Cloud computing. The role of cloud computing will increase day by day. Because of the cloud computing, enormous amount of data can be kept, and on that basis, decisions can be taken. Similarly, by for taking decisions, there will be greater use of analytics in HR. We all know that what role mobile is playing in our day-to-day life, but nowadays, new trend is, and it will further increase, companies are using mobile for connecting people. They are sending their employees management tips. They are doing opinion polls also. They are doing survey also through mobile. And because of the mobile, nowadays, employees are well connected, complete 24 into 7. So nowadays, it has a great role to play. And similarly, we all know that social media is extremely important in our day-to-day life. And because of the social media, one trend is fast emerging, that is creating opinion groups. And nowadays, the traditional trade unions will gradually convert into virtual trade unions, where the unions will cross their limited boundary of a particular unit, but perhaps at the industry level, at the regional level, unions will be formed in the years to come. Of course, your generation is quite different than our generation. Now, in your generation, what you want? Your senior should not act like a boss. He or she should become your friend, philosopher, guide, mentor. You want challenging growth. You want to experiment. You want more freedom. So the way you will be managed is quite different than our days, and certainly before managing the millennial workforce, you will have to take into consideration the aspirations, the need, and the background of youth. Because of the increasing number of dual career couples, now what is happening is both husband and wife, they are professionally active, and that's why in any industry it is not the employee who is the stakeholder, but whether his spouse is working or not working, he or she is also your stakeholder. Because whenever decisions are taken regarding promotions or mobility, transfers, etc., obviously will have to take into consideration the spouse also in order to ensure proper work-life balance. Talent attraction is quite important. That is, corporate sector will do its best to attract that talent. How the talent can be attracted, as we are talking to you in one of these slides, but it will emerge as a key trait as talent movement increases in the young force. This will require organizations to invest more on building their employees' brand to attract the right kind of talent and to retain the existing ones. It is not of financial capital, but in years to come, there will be greater importance, more importance of intellectual capital. So the war for talent retention is going to be further intensified, and the demand for quality talent will remain to be high. Hence, organizations would need to be proactive in mapping their internal talent pool with a external tool. So there will be greater focus to develop your own human resources, that internal social recruitment would be further developed. As far as employee retention is concerned, it has become one of the fascinating areas in the field of HR today, by that HR expenditure that is supposed there in the form of a new HR intervention. Now, I was talking about the talent retention. It is vice versa. On one hand, the organization is looking for good employees. Now, talented employees, skilled employees are also looking for the good organization to work. So, employer will have to create his own brand value in the years to come. It is not a huge size five-star swimming pool. It is not merely a wonderful cafeteria. It is not infrastructure of the organization. It is not the aesthetic environment of the organization that will really fascinate the employee in the years to come. What will be more important for the organization would be, for the employee would be, the intrinsic value of the organization. Perhaps the image, the brand of the employee is very closely associated with the brand or image of the organization. Employees should feel proud. Yes, I am working in this organization. This is my organization. A sense of pride must be there. Perhaps employee may be able to sacrifice part of his purse or very high salary, provided he is assured of that he is working in an organization who is having a very good prestige in the industry. So, employer will try to enhance their brand value, and that brand value can be enhanced only when organization is really socially responsible for the society. Organization is really having some values. Organization is known as ethical organization. The leaders are quite respected in the society. Organizations who are providing good growth opportunities, organization that has become a learning organization where the employees are learning and growing, organizations who are quite sensitive towards their employees for their expectations and aspirations, organizations who are really very, very conscious in improving the quality of work life and for work-life balance as well, and organizations who are really creating an environment which is quite friendly to work. So in future, employees, particularly I'm talking about the talented employees, they will work for the organization who is having a real brand value in the industry. Reward and recognition is quite important from the point of view of employees, but here what is more important is that in future particularly, because of the cost escalation, reward will be linked with the performance. The more you perform, the better you will be rewarded. To utilize the cost, this is the only option available. Number two, it is not the reward that is important. Equally important is that how that reward has been properly communicated to the employee. Employees should understand and feel that yes, this reward is really, really very attractive. What I am contributing, really I am getting more out of that. So reward management contribution and communication is important. There will be greater focus on non-monetary reward. So it means reward should be such that should create performance culture. Reward should include both monetary and non-monetary. Reward should consider the total cost aspect is quite important. It should not become costly to the organization. Organization must benchmark the best reward practices. Reward should nurture innovations. Reward communication is quite important, and certainly restructuring the compensation package is very much required after frequent intervals. And future leadership qualities. In fact, organizations and particularly the HR manager will be exploring the leaders right from the very beginning when the candidate joins the organization, how that person is really capable of uh, leading people. If leadership potentials and qualities are there, then such persons would be nurtured, developed right from the beginning, and they will be assigned leadership assignment. Their growth will be much faster. Those who are having innovative thinking, those who are focusing on achieving results, involving workforce and make them feel valued, those who are believing in team spirit, those who really encourage initiative and uh, action, and those who really engage workforce, they will always be preferred for the leadership position. This is the last slide for the my presentation because of the time constraint. As already mentioned, bit of it. Now the time has come when industry and academia, they must join hands. What is happening most of the time? Whenever you are joining an institute, including this institute, perhaps this question occurs in your mind. What is the placement scenario? Perhaps you might have asked to the counselors, सब प्लेसमेंट कैसा है आपके इंस्टीट्यूट में? लेकिन काउंसलर आपसे अगर ये पूछते हैं, ये बताइए कि क्या आप रियली एम्प्लॉयबल हैं, तो आपका आंसर क्या होगा? This institution cannot place you, mind it, in spite of exaggerated claims, अगर कहीं हैं तो. This institute cannot place you. This institute can provide you a forum. Now, it is only you who can place yourself, and that is possible only when you make yourself employable, when you become a skilled. Because of the time constraints, perhaps teachers may not be able to provide you much inputs. It is your responsibility primarily that whenever you go to your home or your hostel, read more, try to enhance your skill. Just think that whatever concept and theories Madam has taught, how it can be applied in real life situation. Focus more and more case studies. So skill development is primarily your responsibility, but certainly the institute will always act as a facilitator. Similarly, the companies, the corporate sector once visit to the institute and then they start criticizing students. This is not also good. Industry people should have a close linkage with the institution. They should involve themselves with the institution in different capacity. And similarly, teachers, the faculty members, should be given project assignment by the industry. That is, there should be two-way relationship, invite industry people for lecturing, for discussions, involve them in designing the syllabi, in academic ventures, but simultaneously, industry people should also take keen interest in the development of the institution. Unless that kind of relationship is there, perhaps in spite of all these campaigns, all these exaggerated statements, nothing fruitful will come. Time has come for, especially for the youth. Think seriously. Just develop your skills. Whatever your area of interest might be, it might be HR, it might be marketing, it might be finance, or it might be some technical area. Please enhance your knowledge, enhance your competence, enhance your communication skills, and make yourself employable. If you are really employable, this institution will be able to help you, and I think no help is required even from the institution. You will be able to save yourself well, and perhaps employment will not be a problem at all for you. So this Make in India campaign will not be successful unless the population of this country, and particularly the youth, the working population, seriously think in enhancing.
You observe that until unless you focus how my chapter will improve my life, how I can apply this chapter in my practical life, then you can understand that. So every time whenever you are reading your bank chapter of Reserve Bank of India or State Bank of India or NPA or for assignment problem or transportation problem or linear programming problem, you have to think over it how I will use this in my practical life when I qualify my degree, then how I will use this theory in my practical life. In this way, if you read, your knowledge will remain permanent. So thank you very much for such a good idea. Sir, what about my idea about position in board of director of director in a company, private or public limited company?
The idea is brilliant, no doubt about it, that the academic fraternity must be very closely associated with the industry, and maybe some of the eminent academicians may be taken in the board of directors. Of course, very few companies have done. Uh, Here the point is, our problem is, in general, the limitation is that basically we are theoreticians. In the board meetings, academicians have not been able to contribute much in the policy making or giving some practical suggestion. So, academia should think in terms of the, should not live in an ivory tower. They should provide some real productive, useful suggestion to the company. Perhaps the top management of the company won't mind taking our people on their boards, provided that we, that yes, these people are really contributing meaningful in the board of. And similarly, it is vice versa. We should also take industry people in our board of studies or in academic councils. But our problem is that, of course, in exceptional cases, we have taken some industry people, but that is just decorative. Whenever board meetings are there, they hardly turn up. So that is our problem. And because of the bureaucratic system, sometimes we find it quite difficult to attack the industry people. But you have very rightly said that academia should contribute very actively, and our faculty should, of course, everyone cannot reach at the board of directors level, but if we can take some consultancy project, if we can sell our idea that look, I want to take this project from your company, and whatever suggestions I would be giving to you, will be really useful. Perhaps they won't mind because it's a business for them. They won't mind even paying you good money for valuable output. So it is vice versa.
Even in nursing education, even in the medical education, there is affiliation with the hospitals and all. But in our management education, there is no affiliation from the industry as such.
Exactly.
That is the biggest problem because they are all are bored by reading their books only. So if there is a affiliation with some good companies, then definitely their skills will improve and they will know.
Certainly. Now, what is happening in US, you know it very well that uh, teaching is not a permanent kind of job there. Professors go to the industry, they work there, they come back and then they share their experiences with the students. But in India, what is happening? If I'm in the teaching, then perhaps I'll be teaching for the next 2 decades. And similarly, those who are in industry, they are not good at academics. So that's the problem. And perhaps in the future, that scenario will change. And nowadays, in good institutions of management, rather management prefers to take somebody from industry as a director, provided he has obtained his PhD or whatever UGC qualifications are to appoint somebody as a director. So the trend is started and perhaps it will come soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Your session was full of passion and priceless knowledge. Now, it is time for honoring our speakers. So, I would like to request Professor P. Chandni, sir, to kindly give the mementos to our speakers for this session. Big round for Professor Edwin Mittal, sir. Thank you, sir. Really great session we had with Professor H.M. Mittal and Professor Anil Mehta, sir. Now the moment has come again. We are going to invite our young researcher for the oral presentation. As I already mentioned, she will be getting 5 minutes each to showcase her research. For that, I would like to invite come up on the stage our first researcher, Ms. Abhilasha Jha, for her oral presentation. Please welcome Abhilasha Jha.
Everybody. My name is Abhilasha Jha and I am a research scholar at the University of Rajasthan. I am here, I am here to present my research paper titled A Study of Human Resource Management Aspect of Make in India. Make in India is a campaign which was launched by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on 25th September 2014. It aims to promote the manufacturing sector and facilitate investment through FDI and bilateral and multilateral engagement. It includes major initiatives facilitating investment, driving innovation, protecting intellectual property rights, providing world-class manufacturing infrastructure. 25 sectors have been identified as priority areas, including automobile, construction, food processing, IT, defense, aviation, etc. There are single window clearances, minimal procedures, cutting out of red tapeism, online processes and approvals, development of industrial corridors. The growth rate has been between 2% to 3%. Share of manufacturing to GDP is only 15%, which is very low in compared to the developed countries. Make in India aims to increase the share to 25% by 2022. Now, FDI investment will result in the increase in growth, which will in turn result in increase in employment opportunities, and this will result in creation of a lot of jobs and sustainable economic development and growth. It is expected that there will be a creation of 100 million jobs. The more the jobs, the more is the requirement of human resource management. Indian economy is dominated by service sector. Most of the jobs are white collar in nature, but through this Make in India initiative, jobs are being created in a sector in which most of the people are workers. So, in my opinion, the focus areas in HRM will be talent acquisition and retention, large number of job opportunities will result in a shortage of skilled labor and coaching. And so this talent acquisition and retention is a major challenge area the HR managers will be facing. Skill development. R.C. Bhargav of Maruti Suzuki says that to produce globally competitive goods, skilled and trained labor force is required. There are various programs that have been taken into that have been designed. Uh, Skill India initiative is one of them. We need to make more such programs. Managing organizational culture and instilling discipline. R.C. Bhargav also says that motivated people bring increases in productivity, cost reduction, and quality improvement. So this area is also very important. Labor and industrial relations and conflict management. In manufacturing companies, most of the people who are working are workers and who work on machines and lines. Labor and industrial relations are based on assumptions that interest for Make in India, that the interest for workers and the management are misaligned. So for Make in India to be a success, we need to align their interests. I will conclude by saying that people are the most important asset who determine the competitiveness of any business. Since manufacturing is a people-dominated business, labor relations and personal management become a key parameter that need to be taken care of. Government and companies should devise labor laws and HR policies in manner conducive to the well-being